It is the second night on the picket line for the Kentucky truck plant, and Louisville's other Ford plant may soon feel the impacts. Thanks for joining us right here at 11. I'm Shay McAllister. Doug has the night off. Support for the workers has been far-reaching, with other Louisville unions helping man the picket lines. However, the impact of the strike is already being felt. WHAS11 night teams Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester join us from the Kentucky truck plant. Connor, what have you learned tonight?
Shay, entering hour 31 here and still going strong on the picket line. Take a look. KTP workers now joined by LAP workers, also some suppliers. And we've also learned tonight this strike could potentially mean Ford's other Kentucky plant, the Louisville assembly plant, shuts down production soon. As the first full day on the picket line comes to a close. UAW! A warning from UAW Local 862 President Todd Dunn about what may come next.
It should be by tomorrow, they should be down and not able to run at the Louisville assembly plant.
With 8,700 UAW workers walking off the job at KTP, Dunn speculates more than 3,000 workers at Ford's Louisville assembly plant could face layoffs as early as Friday.
We're working right now to strategize how we're going to deal with the layoffs. You know, I feel that the Ford Motor Company has created this problem.
As KTP workers prepare for another 6 days without pay before strike fund pay kicks in.
It's always tough on a community.
Other parts of the supply chain weigh in on the impact this historic strike will have on business. And what exactly do you think the impact could be on dealerships like yourself, Ford dealerships?
It's painful. You can imagine it has a complete impact on our business.
Kevin Collins of Bill Collins Ford says the back and forth has slowed down about a quarter of business dealers, especially with this most recent move hitting so close to home. It's also being speculated there may be layoffs at LAP. Would that further impact the local community?
Clearly, is that going to impact another 5 or 10% on our business? Sure, it would have to.
If they're doing that, it's for a reason, and I respect that.
Liliana Garcia, a GM at a Mexican restaurant right down the road from KTP, standing with her Ford regulars while also underscoring the impact one of the U.S.'s largest assembly plants has on local business.
We do have a lot of customers, especially to-go orders.
Adding the longer this goes on, the more the restaurant may have to readjust its business plans.
If it stays like this, yes. But I don't know exactly for how long, but if it's days like this, maybe, yeah.
So Ford executives do say that KTP strike will have serious consequences on the workforce, on suppliers, on dealers. These people here tonight, they do know that, they do acknowledge that, but to them they say they feel as if they have no other choice. Everyone's standing united here on the picket lines tonight. We're live here at the Kentucky truck plant. Connor Steffen, the WHAS 11 night team on your side.
All right, Connor, thanks for that update. Well, during a call this afternoon, we got a better idea of the potential impact across the nation. Ford executives say because their plants are all interconnected, the strike at KTP is impacting at least 13 other plants nationwide. This includes 4,600 non-striking workers. Right now, Ford says that more than 16,000 workers are on strike, but the strike has impacted far more through strike-related layoffs.
So far, the work stoppage at Michigan Assembly Plant and Chicago Assembly Plant have forced more than 13,000 layoffs so far at nearly 90 supplier sites. The fragile supply chain will be nudged further toward collapse with this strike at Kentucky Truck Plant.
The company also said they were shocked by the decision of the union to call the strike, saying they thought they were seeing improvement in those negotiations.
This software would put employees among the top 25% of all U.S. jobs, hourly and salary. And this last week, the two areas we were talking about, you're correct, was pensions and also the battery plants. And frankly, we thought we were making progress on both, and we're quite surprised at the escalation.
Ford says should giving in to all of the demands of the UAW risks their ability to invest in the business and keep profits growing. Well, tomorrow at 10 in the morning, we're expecting UAW President Shawn Fain to give us an update on the negotiations, where they stand and which plans may join the picket line next. You can get those updates from us as they're released on WHAS11.com.
Vehicle manufacturers need to do their part to keep their customers and our communities safe. Most automakers do that, but there are two automakers that have been negligent in this area.
Tonight, Mayor Craig Greenberg taking aim at Kia and Hyundai, placing blame now on the automakers for the rash of car thefts in Louisville. Today, the mayor announced the city is suing the two auto manufacturers. The city claims the automakers cut corners by not installing anti-theft devices into the majority of their older models. The WHAS 11 night team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie spoke with one of the thousands of theft victims in Louisville. They join us downtown right now.
Shay, this comes due to the rise of stolen Kias and Hyundais. TikTok trends and social media has been the biggest influencer behind all of this. I spoke to a Hyundai theft victim who says this lawsuit gives her a sense of hope.
I looked at my parking spot and I saw a pile of glass. I had no idea where my car was.
Clea Grubb was in complete denial when someone stole her 2016 Hyundai Accent in July. Luckily, LMPD found her Hyundai the next day. However, Grubb was not pleased with the condition it was in once it was found.
The back window on the passenger side was broken. It was trash. Like, there was so much trash everywhere. It smelled like smoke.
The steering wheel column was broken, leaving her with thousands of dollars worth of damage. She still has the screwdriver that was used in her ignition. Grubb is one of many Louisvillians that fall victim to auto theft daily. Thursday, Metro government filed a lawsuit against Kia and Hyundai due to the rise of vehicles stolen.
Louisville is saying through this lawsuit, Hyundai and Kia have made our streets, sidewalks, and neighborhoods less safe.
Mayor Craig Greenberg says Kia and Hyundai vehicles have become easier to steal due to the lack of engine immobilizers. Those are anti-theft devices that prevent cars from being started unless the key matches. Grubb says this lawsuit gives her some sense of relief.
It makes me feel some hope that there will be some justice in this situation.
LMPD says more than 2,100 Hyundais and Kias were reported stolen from January to July of 2023. That's about 11 cars a day.
Officers have found juveniles as young as 10 and 12 years old stealing the cars due to the poor security features.
Grubb now has a steering lock on her wheel.
And it's tight there. It's not going anywhere.
She hopes this lawsuit is a wake-up call to Kia and Hyundai to design their future vehicles with features to keep them from being stolen.
They just need to make sure that they have all the safety features there.
And Louisville joins other major cities like New York, Chicago, and Seattle that have already filed lawsuits against Kia and Hyundai. Reporting live in downtown Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 night team on your side.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much. More news right here at 11. EMS was called to Male High School today after a fight in the auditorium led to a student spraying mace. In a letter sent home to parents, Principal Keith Cathy said that fight started this morning before school even got started. Cathy says no students were seriously hurt. He adds the students involved in the fight will be disciplined according to the student handbook. And new tonight, Kentucky lawmakers heard updates on the state's youth detention centers. During a hearing in Frankfort, the Department of Public Advocacy accused the Adair County Detention Center of violating policies for inmate treatment. A new report presented by the DPA found Adair County placed youth inmates in isolation without following due process. The DPA said policy dictates isolation should not last more than 24 hours. However, they were receiving reports of inmates placed in isolation for days.
Really, every 4 hours you're supposed to be doing checks whether isolation should continue to occur. And we're not seeing those things, isolations going on for days. And even when they're not calling it isolation, it is isolation because they're in these cells that we're not allowed out of.
The Department of Juvenile Justice denied knowing about the incidents. They claim isolation, as described, is not currently happening in youth detention facilities. Also new right here at 11, Republican Majority Leader Steve Scalise has ended his bid to become Speaker of the House. It comes after Scalise failed to secure enough votes in a second secret ballot from GOP members. The representative from Louisiana spent the majority of the last 2 days attempting to secure the votes needed to gain the nomination. Scalise said there are still many people who have their own agendas, and the House is now entering its second week without a speaker. It is essentially unable to function until Republicans can agree on a single nominee.